E-content on the topic structure of nephron. Nephron. A nephron is the basic structural and functional unit of the kidney. They are the microscopic structure composed of a renal corpuscle and a renal tubule. The word nephron is derived from the Greek word, nephros, meaning kidney. Glomerulus. Each glomerulus is made up of about 50 capillaries which are bent into short loops to form a small tuft of blood vessels called glomerular tuft. The glomerular tuft is lodged in a cup-shaped structure termed Bowman's capsule. The Bowman's capsule was discovered by Bowman, in 1842, who showed that the tuft of capillaries called glomerulus pushed into the tubule in a manner a first would push into an inflated rubber ball. The invagination thus formed is in the shape of a capsule which is a double-walled structure around the glomerulus. The Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus together constitute the Malpighian corpuscle. Renal tubule. The renal tubule is divided into three segments. The segment of the tubule which immediately follows the Bowman's capsule is called proximal tubule. The proximal tubule is a highly convoluted structure which leads into a U-shaped segment of the renal tubule, called loop of Henle. The latter enters straight into the medulla of the kidney, makes a hairpin bend, and comes back to the cortex. The parts of the tubule leading to and going away from the bend are respectively called the descending and ascending limbs of the loop of Henle. The ascending limb of the loop of Henle is continued into a distal convoluted tubule. The distal convoluted tubule opens into the collecting tubule. That part of the distal tubule which makes a junction with the collecting tubule is called junctional tubule. Several collecting tubules unite to form a duct of Bellini. The ducts of Bellini open into calyces, which are funnel-shaped structures present in the medulla of the kidney. The cortex and medulla of the kidney are structural entities carrying out different functions. The cortex contains the glomeruli and the proximal and distal tubules of the nephrons. The medulla has two structures: 1. Pyramids whose apices open into the calyces. The calyces are large collecting ducts into which the ducts of Bellini empty their contents. All the calyces unite to form a funnel-shaped structure called the pelvis of the kidney. The cortex and medulla of the kidney are structural entities carrying out different functions. The cortex contains the glomeruli and the proximal and distal tubules of the nephron. The medulla has two structures: 1. Pyramids whose apices open into the calyces. The calyces are large collecting ducts into which the ducts of Bellini empty their contents. All the calyces unite to form a funnel-shaped structure called the pelvis of the kidney. 2. In between the calyces there are columns of Bertini. The loops of Henle of the various nephrons are present in these columns. The walls of the Bowman's capsule are made up of a single layer of flattened epithelial cells called podocytes. The podocytes send out small tentacle-like processes, each of which has small projections called pedicels. The latter are in close contact with the cells of the glomerular capillaries. The cells of the proximal tubules are long and cuboidal. The inner border of each cell gives off about 150 thin microvilli which impart it a brush-like appearance. These cells are therefore called brush border cells. These greatly increase the surface area of the proximal tubules. The total area of the brush border cells of each human kidney is about 30 square meters. The entire descending limb of the loop of Henle, and part of the ascending limb is thin-walled and narrower than the rest of the renal tubule. The cells of the distal tubule are also large and columnar. These have a large number of vesicles, probably secretory, and some microvilli.